Chairman, I've got Dr. Barry Landa coming up to ask you a question. He'll be supported by his daughter Jessica.
Sure.
Okay, I've written out questions for Perpetual AGM, and I apologise from the start, as last year I suffered a cerebral stroke, and so it's difficult. And so this is why I brought Jessica along, my youngest daughter. I used to be a long-standing shareholder of Perpetual in my company's name for over 20 years. But the experience I've had over the last 10 years and the findings at last of the Financial Services Royal Commissioner under Justice Hayne made me hold your company in poor repute. I'm talking about a criminal, Dominic Chincotta, mortgage agent, sentenced for 5 years by ASIC. Are you aware of this case?
You continue. I'm not personally.
In the New South Wales Criminal Court. So he was a mortgage agent of Perpetual and me. I want to know, have you addressed money laundering as identified on the forged account with Perpetual, PTAL I'll call them, right? Perpetual Trust of Australia Limited, of Chincotta's wife, Patrice Chincotta, having written on it suspect transaction, query money laundering. Have you informed AUSTRAC or ASIC in the legal time of 10 days, or have you still broken the law so many years later? Are you going to, if you have not, are you going to? Have you yet to admit breaking the Financial Reporting Transactions Act 1988? Have you stopped banking unendorsed bank cheques made out to Perpetual Trustees of Australia into a forged broker's wife's account? And I draw your attention to the Supreme Court of New South Wales under Justice Slattery and his findings. Third-party checks that no other financial institution would handle such. So quickly, are you aware of all that? Because this is a previous Mr. Deverell's board meeting.
I think, Mr. Landa, the best I can do is we meet with you after this meeting to get the details, because you've made some very serious allegations.
Yes.
Which clearly we would dispute. Our systems would have.
You can't dispute it. It's all documented.
We would need to look into the facts of that with you, and we're happy to do that. I'm unaware of the case, and I think we're not at this point aware of that. And I think we need to get the facts with you, if that's a way to take it forward. And
we have an AFCA letter as well.
Good.
For you to have, and you can have this as well.
Okay.
What do you want to?
Is that okay?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, can we do that after the meeting? And
I want the board members to look back in hindsight that things weren't all rosy with Perpetual, even though I was a long-term investor. Right, I was scammed. A broker went to jail for 5 years. Right, it went all the way to the High Court of Australia, but then the Royal Commission happened, where the malfeasance of the financial industry was highlighted. And NAB took over fraudulent mortgages. You were the trustees, right? By securitisation. You know the story, right? So I suffered 10 years going all the way to the High Court of Australia. And the man who recommended to me to go to the High Court of Australia was a man called Justice Hayne. So he knows my case really well. Yes.
We can maybe
pick that up.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm saying is that the mortgage was for a small amount that was stolen, right? I went all the way to the High Court, and there was a settlement because after 10 years I just couldn't handle it anymore. The mortgage that was stolen was valued at around 1.6 million. The settlement, how much was it, Jess?
I'm not sure, but then
Some years later, I received a notice of repossession after the settlement, years later, after there was a settlement, a repossession of the family home and property if I don't pay NAB 3.96 million. The original funds to be invested with you guys, PTAL, right? I was investing with PTAL, but using my properties as security. You understand?
so that was all interest and fees.
Yeah.
I can swap them later.
At least I got an apology from a board member, Jennifer Hawkins. I don't know where Jennifer's gone. Is she around? Okay. Jennifer wrote to me, right, saying, sorry, your money was stolen, but we did not get it also. A farce. At least I got an apology from a board member. The 3.96 million was mostly penalty interest rates and costs. You've got to remember, I never received a cent. The money was fraudulently taken and shipped off to Hong Kong or Sicily, where the broker came from. 3.96 was mostly penalty interest and costs as NAB purchased the mortgage securitization, the mortgage book that Perpetual was still the trustee of. I think it's called securitization. This is all before Justice Hayne in the High Court, in the FSRC. I do not want my family evicted from our home. I scraped up the 3.96 million and asked for my deeds back, which they refused to do unless I signed a release that I would not do on principle. I'm a doctor, anaesthetist, and worked in hospitals for 55 years. Have you ever, any on the board had anaesthetics? Right, you know what it's like. We have a duty of care. The duty of care is to make sure you're asleep. And the other duty of care is to make sure you wake up alive and well. You might die in the recovery room, as people do, but our duty of care is to make sure you wake up alive. So you as trustees have a duty of care. But then they said via their NAB tried to legitimise the fake mortgages and the broker in jail to be evicted from my home and let NAB steal 3.96 million because I'd had it, right? So I raised the money. But then they said via their internal lawyer, Mr. Grant Jones, is he here by any chance? Make the cheque out to PTAL, Perpetual Trustees of Australia Limited, not to NAB, not to a broker, but to you. And yet I got the notice from NAB for the eviction of our family from our home, which I refused. Well, then the Financial Services Royal Commission happens, where it becomes known the misconduct of the banks, and that's why I'm here today, struggling to see if I can expect morality and honesty occur within a company. I was a shareholder and admired its performance for decades. I was a shareholder by myself or my companies, but it was for a long time. I was very happy with Perpetual. I'm just asking the return of the Landa funds that were stolen. Not Perpetual funds, not NAB funds, the Landa family funds. That's what I'm asking you to work on with AFCA and NAB. Can you become honest now as you were not previously?
Okay,
Is it
Mr.
possible?
Landa, I think we've got the real gist. We got more than the gist. Thank you. I know, and
I thank you for listening.
And you've put it.
And I'm going to. Would you like a copy of the AFCA
yes,
submission?
I think we will meet with you after this meeting, and
we're going to thank Jessica.
and work that through with you.